multiple storms.
Professor John Yoo, the storm to which we refer is the second deadliest hurricane in the U.S. mainland in 55 years. And that is the leadership we get?
Kayleigh, first, thanks for having me back, guys. I didn't know you were going to have me back.
We love having you.
So, look, this is a failure of presidential leadership. If you have people still dying several days after the storm, you have supplies that can't get into critical areas. You have accounts of private helicopters and planes flying in to rescue people. And the reason I say that is
I will say, like, this is really vindicating all the death cult language that I described the Republicans with. No, they're 100% they're demons. They're not human. Because when I look at this, there's like a liberal urge within me, which is like, oh, you should debunk the points. But there's no point in debunking the points because everything they're saying is factually incorrect. It's like, it's not only factually incorrect, it's obviously incorrect. Like, it would be a waste of time. Oh, did you know that this is fake? Yeah, all of you know that this is fake. It's all made up. So with the liberal, like, urge to debunk left aside, what more is there to say but these people should all be in jail? It should be illegal to lie like this in mainstream media. Yes, that would hit a lot of liberal orgs as well, and I'm so okay with that. I'm so incredibly okay with that. I hope you all know that I'm okay with that. But like these people, like every single one of them should be rotting in a cell, 100%. It is a death cult. Like there is nothing they will not say in their pursuit of causing more death. It is always about more death. It is like the end goal to them.
Founders created a presidency so that one person could act in the moment of crisis with speed and decision and activity and energy. And also so the American people could hold the government accountable, could hold that one person.
No, the president is actually like the head of state and government. It's one of the three branches. They didn't... What? It's weird narrativizing.
Accountable. It pains me to say this, but when you see that video of President Biden, do we really think that he's in charge? Shouldn't he be in the storm zone and kicking butt to get people moving and things?
What the would him being in the storm zone do apart from clog up the rescue operation? Why would he, what could he possibly do? Lift rocks? He's 100 years old. That would just delay everything. Yeah, the other guy was complaining that he was hogging the airspace arriving there.
Moving into the area for disaster relief. Have they spread responsibility around so that we, the American people, can't tell who's in charge and how to hold them responsible?
No, it's Congress. Congress approves the funding. That's how the government works.
For failures in the disaster relief.
Yeah, they need to act with alacrity, with resolve, and in a wholesome manner. And I do want to play this from Governor Kemp. A lot of people have been making something of Governor Kemp and his discourse with the federal government, but they've ignored this component. Here is Kemp on Biden in this moment.
When the first
wholesome, is that what we're going with?
Emergency declarations came down, there was only 11 counties in that. A lot of people were outraged, including me, because there was such devastation in up to 90 counties. So we called the White House. We spoke to the president's chief of staff, the FEMA administrator, and said, "Look, you're sending the signal that you're not paying attention to some of these rural communities."
Kennedy, why is the governor of Georgia having to call the White House, asking why rural communities are not included in disaster declaration relief from FEMA? He had to call and plead for rural communities.
I mean, this is deadly.
I mean, I again, like, it's personally degrading to me that I should have to ask this, because all of you should be intelligent enough to, I feel like I'm watching like Dora the Explorer and I'm following along with the swipe or no swiping bit, you know? Is the claim by the governor actually true? Or is he just saying that? Like, I know that we would imagine a news organization would fact check something like that, like the idea that Biden just forgot to include rural communities in the FEMA relief zone. You know, Biden doesn't direct FEMA, right? Like Biden's not an expert on expedited search and rescue and recovery. Like, they have their own system for managing disasters.
This is heartbreaking. And to John's point, you bring up the word crisis. That is what the federal government is supposed to do. They are supposed to respond in a crisis.
Hold on, I'm going to come up. I've got a good argument. You're ugly. I hate your glasses. I despise, and your hair, like a mop on your head. It is denigrating to me to have to watch this, so I will denigrate in response.
Crisis. These are the moments where you need to make sure that you have infrastructure, that you've got bureaucracies that are communicating with each other.
Oh, it's the torture memo lawyer? Hold on. What? Baylor, what do you know that I don't know? This guy, John Yoo, was one of the leaders of George Bush's unitary executive theory stuff and wrote the torture memo that let them do all that stuff. The big guy who said, I'm glad to be back on, he's the torture memo guy? Okay, cool.
To deliver aid in the moment, not later on when there's chin scratching. People don't want politicization right now, but what they're dealing with is an administration that can only create crises. They can't respond to them. You know, and you look back at the hug that New Jersey Governor Chris Christie gave Barack Obama in 2012 during Hurricane Sandy, and that was his political undoing. You look at the response to Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and that was, you know, a harsh light that George W. Bush was painted in for his...
She's like, yeah, that was Hurricane Sandy was the undoing of Barack Obama, whereas George W. Bush was painted in a harsh light due to Katrina. She realized, like, wait, hold on, I'm on a propaganda network. I can't acknowledge that was objectively his fuck up. I have to see it, like, you know, even though Katrina was infinitely worse than what's happening now because FEMA just didn't save those people. She's like, you know, oh wait, hold on, I can't. Please turn this off. I can't take it anymore. Millions of Americans around the country are watching this every single day.
His presidency. I don't know if Kamala Harris will ever ascend to the presidency because of the response of her administration. And right now, we don't have a president. All you have to do is look at his response to the press queries, and you know he's not all there. Someone needs to be there. It has to be her. She doesn't have to suspend her campaign like John McCain did in 2008, but she absolutely has to do more than read from a piece of paper.
What does the vice president have the power to do in this case?
If she's not going to answer questions, then she has to answer with action, and she is not doing that. Shame on her, because this
shame on her. Shame. This is, again, it's like, and this is the big, like, a political awakening that liberals need to have, and I think a lot of them have had it. And more of them need to have it, which is that the enemy is evil and they are not human and they hate you and they don't believe in truth. It's not that they're wrong. They are wrong, but they're not incidentally wrong. They didn't arrive at the wrong conclusion because they were provided the wrong information. They work in organizations that tell them it doesn't matter what's true, you will say this, and then they say that. You might recognize it, liberals. You see it whenever your news columnists are made to discuss Israel, you know? You think it's a coincidence all of the, like, 57 refugees die in explosion, you know, in Gaza. Really? Who did the explosion? You see what it looks like when you talk about Israel. These guys do it for everything. Not that we really need to debunk anything, but Obama was openly praised by his handling of Sandy by governors, including Chris Christie. That was before the, you know, MAGA movement, so there might have been some, like, some reciprocity in some instances, at least, with, like, acknowledging reality. But we're well past that at this point. You know, we're well past that.
Shouldn't be about politics right now.
Or at least show up at FEMA. My God, the hurricane happened Thursday. Yes, she was visiting the border Friday. You could have gone Saturday morning and visited FEMA and shown your face and read from your paper on Saturday morning. But she didn't do that, Emily.
Why would she do that?
Something else that wasn't...
What do you mean at FEMA? What does that mean? At FEMA? Like, at, like, an office somewhere? What does that mean?
Done. FEMA was not prepared, and we were lied to as a country. This is really important. Mayorkas said this in June. FEMA is tremendously...
I mean, she is literally, like, in large part reading from a script here. Obviously, she's reading a quote at this moment, but she's referring heavily to the script because, like, if there's no... couldn't afford the teleprompter for this one.
Prepared. This is what we do. This is what they do. The key here is to make sure that the communities that are potentially impacted are prepared as well. He was talking about hurricane response. That was in June. He said we were prepared. Here he is 3 days ago.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
So FEMA was